Hello guys, welcome back. We are in the Genki series, book 1, unit 1, part 2. So, in the last video, we learned how to use this. If you're new here, go ahead and watch the first video, or the first part of this book, because if you're not watching this series in chronological order, you're going to be very confused very quick. Anyway, now we're going to be learning how to use, how to make question sentences, and it's really easy. It's so easy, in fact, that I think I'm gonna combine unit 1, 2, and 3, because this is gonna be very quick, right? So last time we learned ryugakse desu, or we learned like this, right? So this ryugakse means international student. So gakse, right? Gakse is student, and then ryugakse, international student or exchange student. And now we're gonna make it a question. It's so simple. It's very simple, right? Well, why isn't my highlighter? Ryugakse desu ka? Are you an international student? Right? So you can see here that, again, since the subject, you don't really say you in Japanese, like, ever. You use the person's name. So like, Yamada-san wa ryugakse desu ka? Or you could just say ryugakse desu ka? Because if I'm talking towards you, it's obvious that you're the you're the subject of the sentence, right? But you can see that when these two sentences are just alone, context of the conversation is really important. So it's really important to be a good listener in Japanese, because you have to kind of know what's going on, or you can get lost very quickly. So if you just say ryugakse desu, it just means I am an international student. Or it could be he, she, they, right? So you gotta know what the prior conversation was about, or what the person is talking about. And then ryugakse desu ka is asking, typically, are you an international student? So just changing that one thing, like base definition is I am, and then here is are you. So just adding ka to the end of the sentence, right? Now this is a yes or no question, right? So ryugakse desu ka? Are you an international student? Is it hai so desu? Hai ryugakse desu, right? There's a lot of ways to just say it. You say like hi if you're Japanese, you're not too confident adding anything else. Perfectly natural. So question sentences may also contain a question word like nan, which is what. So we're gonna learn how to ask things here. So senko wa nan desu ka? So this is what is your major. Again, you'll see here that this is the subject, right? Senko. So this is major, wa, subject particle. So this is indicating the subject of the sentence. So what are we talking about? We're talking about majors, right? So senko wa, I can't get the highlighter. Senko wa nan desu ka? Right? Nan, which is what? Desu ka. So I know everybody's probably thinking like nani. Like I thought, why isn't it senko wa nani desu ka? Whenever you're pairing nani with this form, like right after, it's usually none, because it just rolls much better. I'm sure there's a much better explanation, but there's actual like real grammar reason as to why, but it's just easier to say nan desu ka. So that's what my excuse is gonna be. Right? Senko wa eigo desu. So you can see here that senko wa is in parentheses. And the reason for that is you don't actually have to say senko wa. So if I ask you senko wa nan desu ka, you can say eigo desu, because again, we've implied that senko is the the subject, right? Few little tips here. It is not customary to write a question mark at the end of a question sentence in Japanese. All right, so you can see here desu ka, and then there's actually a period, because the ka is a question mark in a sense, right? It does this job, so it's almost redundant to do it twice, right? And then the question word for what has two pronunciations, nan and nani. Nan is used immediately before dis or before a counter, like ji, clock. The other form, nani, is used before a particle. Okay, there you go. There's your real explanation. All right, going down here, we're gonna have some questions and answers to practice using desu ka and review some dis. So this is quite good. So ima nan, again you can see nan, right? Not naniji desu ka, nanji desu ka, right? Nanji desu ka? What time is it now? Ima 9時です. right? So again, you can see that ima is in parentheses because you can always just get rid of the subject. Even though there is no subject particle, you can say ima wa nanji desu ka. That sounds perfectly fine. It's not incorrect, right? And then again, you can just reply with the answer. Just reply with the answer. It sounds much more natural. Sounds like you got a grip of the language. Believe it or not, the less Japanese you speak in your replies, the more native you're gonna sound, right? You could not believe how much Japanese speakers cut back when they talk. Just delete things as much as possible and omit as many things as they can, honestly. So ima kuji desu, right? It is 9 o'clock. So ku is 9, right? And then ji is like o'clock, and then this is, right? So it is 9 o'clock, right? So let's look here. Mary-san wa nansai desu ka? Right? So here we have another counter. The counter here was the time, right? And then here the counter is age. Sai is age, right? Nansai desu ka? So how old are you, Mary? So if I'm talking to Mary, I say Mary-san wa nansai desu ka? And this was pointed towards Mary. It would be how old are you? But if I'm asking a third party, Mary-san wa nansai desu ka? It would be how old is Mary? How old is she? In that sense, right? Slight difference. So here it's how old are you? How old? And then if you're talking to a third party, it could be how old is. But meaning is basically the same, right? We're trying to find out Mary's age. And then 19 sai desu, right? So I'm 9 years old. And then you're thinking, wait, isn't ku here? Isn't that 9? Why is it q here 9? And it's because this language is really hard. I believe me. Next up, we have 何年生ですか? Right? Which is, what year are you in college? This is something that was a little bit difficult to get my head around. In Japan, like, we ask it a little bit too in the States. Like, are you a freshman? Are you a sophomore? Like, that kind of thing. I don't know how you'd ask it without making it a yes or no question. But in Japan, they just say, what year are you in college? Which is 何年生ですか? Right? So nen is year, sei is like student. So what year student are you? But if you think like that, you're going to just have a hard attack learning Japanese. So don't think like that. Right? And then 2年生です. So I am a sophomore. So 2年, right? So like second year. I'm a second year student. I am a sophomore. Right? And these are all extremely natural questions. So if you're planning to go abroad soon to Japan, be prepared for this kind of questions, especially if you're doing an exchange program. So, 電話番号は何ですか? What is your telephone number? And then you just say the number. And you can see here there's a little bit of something that's different. You say no instead of like the hyphen, or you could just say the entire numbers, right? So 186 and then 734です, right? You could just say the numbers too. Yeah, they don't really use phone numbers, so okay, good luck. But yeah, all right. Let's see how long the video is. Video is a lot longer than I thought. Yeah. So now you know how to create a question, and you know how to answer a question using this. So this was a really good new grammar point, right? And you got to practice the old one, and you got to do it all for free. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you like these videos. I'm gonna keep on making more. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one where we're gonna learn noun plus noun using no. Things are getting spicy now.